Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've obviously seen a ton of different conversion kits or aftermarket parts drop this year throughout MW3 and Warzone. And now that we've effectively seen the last of the aftermarket parts, at least all of the competitive ones for this year and whatnot, I wanted to go through and break down in their current state the top 5 best aftermarket parts or best conversion kits to be running in the game. And curiously enough, our very first one is a conversion kit that has been a great, like, absolute meta tier choice from the get-go. The MCW Jack Raven kit that takes the MCW from being a mid to long range rifle and turns it into a close to mid range beast. This, like I said, pretty much since the start has been the go-to sniper support rifle setup. It is really surprising that this was really never nerfed the entire year, but I'm glad it wasn't because it's been a ton of fun to use. So obviously, first and foremost, you have that Raven kit on there. Completely changes the entire way the weapon feels, to its fire rate, its control, its mobility being the biggest difference here, where it's so much more aggressive. Obviously, its damage numbers as well. Now with this, you are only limited to a 40 round mag, which is a little unfortunate. Like, the fire rate's decently fast at an 800 RPM, so you do burn through 40 rounds. Luckily, with those 40 rounds, you can get a bunch of kills because this weapon is so easy to use, and it's also so powerful, outgunning SMGs and other close to mid-range options pretty easily. Use whatever optic you want here. I like the reflector sight. NIDAR would be great here. Slate, if there's any other optic you prefer more, always run what you're the most comfortable with there. I also go for paracord underbarrel, super aggressive in terms of movement still. You get faster movement, better strafe, but also some better control too, so it's even easier. Then lastly, sonic suppressor. This thing is relatively low recoil, so if I can up that velo in that range even more, that's a win for me. And especially with the velo here, that's the most mid part, maybe the only true drawback of this gun, but 541 for mid-range and sniper support is still perfectly viable. You just have to, be a bit more mindful if you're fighting out at like 30, 35, 40 meters as opposed to closer than that. But still, the MCW conversion absolutely melts, and it's been so good from the start. Arguably one of my favorite conversion kits in the game right now is the BP50 conversion, which also turns it from a base rifle into a close range beast. This time it's just focused on the ultra close range. The first 10 to 14 meters or so is where this conversion kit thrives, and it actually is outgunning pretty much every SMG. This thing's got one of the best close range TTKs in the entire game. Absolutely love this thing. We've obviously talked about it a ton, ever since it was dropped, really. So Revenger kit on here once more, completely changing the entire way the weapon behaves. And even though it is dropping down the range and the damage, its TTK goes crazy versus things like the best SMGs in the game, right? You are super limited on your attachments here though. Like, I really never use grip tapes, but because everything else is blocked, you have a free slot here, and I like the iron sights, so I go for the Trust 4 grip tape. It's basically just free control. The idle sway con there does not really matter with where we're fighting. We also have that default 60 round mag, so that's a win outright. High grain ammo on here, extending out that range and that velocity, so we have a 14 meter effective damage range and a 646 velo. That's going to work great for where we're fighting with this. Laser sight on here, better ADS than sprint to fire, just keeping things aggressive and snappy. And then I like quartermaster on here. I've sort of switched over to this as of late. It's going to make this thing feel super accurate, and especially up close, you're going to hit a ton of shots to wherever you want on the body. If you're someone who consistently can aim to the chest and higher, you're going to be set. This thing's not going to deviate too much. It's going to be a very basic recoil pattern, and you're going to melt because of that. As I said, this is one of my favorite setups in the game, and it is absolutely destroying up close right now. Quick reminder, as well as we are going through all the setups here today, if you're new to the channel or perhaps you have not subscribed yet, every single day I got you guys covered with everything going on in COD, whether it's news, reveals, announcements, patch notes, or meta breakdowns like this. It's all right here, so feel free to hit that subscribe button. We are, of course, on the road to 1 million subs. Would love to try and hit that goal by the end of the year. And if you do enjoy this video, a like rating would be seriously appreciated as well. It does help grow the channel and share the video around to new viewers. Next up here, we have one that might be a surprise to a couple of you. Like, the M16 is not talked about a lot, but the M16 conversion kit goes crazy. In this particular case, this might be the conversion kit that takes a weapon from point A and moves it the highest up the meta tier list to point B when you apply the conversion. The base M16, no one is using, no one is talking about. That thing is a steaming pile of garbage. You put on the conversion kit and it turns into one of the best TTK rifles in the entire game. Like, the come up is crazy here. The switch around from being so bad to so good with the Jack Patriot is quite literally night and day. Very easy to use, and this conversion kit does a ton for your control, ups the range, ups the rate of fire, does hurt the damage, but that doesn't matter when you're going into full out of the TTK. Like I said, outguns a bunch of the meta rifles. 60 round extended mag here, you definitely want that. This thing's got a fast fire rate, you're gonna be burning through ammo here. High grain ammo on here too, extending out that range in that velo. We have a crazy good effective damage range of 42 meters, and an 828 velo works quite nicely. Paracord underbarrel keeps it easy, but also keeps it decently aggressive, as we talked about before. Then also quartermaster suppressor here as well, just for the best recoil properties there. Gonna make it very, very easy to shoot. We are using iron sights here. They're clean, and because you are a little bit limited with MW2 attachments, it works out well. If you absolutely needed to run an optic, I think paracord's maybe the only thing here you can really sacrifice to trade that off. So you might want to test out that build if you really don't like the irons, but I think they're clean enough that you'll be able to get the job done, and this thing ends up being a fantastic rifle choice. Following that, we got a setup that we actually just talked about recently, even though we haven't talked about it all that much throughout the year, the Rival 9 4-round burst conversion. This basically takes this from a decent SMG into a 4-round burst that is crazy good, specifically in the mid-range. Like, this thing absolutely melts, and it's a super easy burst to use. You can hold down the trigger, it'll continue to spam, it's low recoil, it's got a quick TTK as well. So you put that Headhunter Carbine conversion kit on here, you can see the velocity goes up by 100%, which is pretty crazy. You got good control, great range on here too. Use whatever optic you want, per usual, right? 50 round extended mag works fantastic here. High grain ammo, not the most necessary. Like, if you really wanted to, you value it, you could swap this out for a suppressor. Use something like a quartermaster, use something like, you know, even a Sonic would work here too. You could mess around with that and see how that would work, but high grain works great as well. And then also paracord underbarrel, yet again, great strafe, good general movement. Then it's going to be super easy to consistently stay on target. Not much, you know, horizontal bounce there, predictable recoil pattern for a burst weapon. This is maybe the best in the entire game, and it's stemming all from the conversion kit. Hey everyone, real quick, gotta give a shout out to my friends over at Gamer Advantage. If you're an active viewer here on the channel, you know that in every single facecam video I post, I'm wearing my Horizon frames, because these truly, more so than anything else in my setup, the PCs, the monitors, the controllers, whatever, these are the most important element, because they keep me feeling fresh every single day. I'm sleeping better at night because of these. I can work on videos, I can play games all day, stare at screens, and not have to worry about getting headaches or eye strain. And this applies to you if you're at school, if you're at work, or if you are playing games, or maybe working on content for yourself like me. These are game changers. Cannot recommend them enough. And Gamer Advantage is for everyone. They got different colorways, different frame styles to suit you perfectly. They offer prescription and regular lenses. So if you're interested in picking up a pair for yourself, throw in code IMMORTAL at checkout. It'll save you some cash. Who doesn't love that, of course? The link for that will be down in the description below if you are interested. Now, a bit of post-edit Zach here, and I know the video is a top 5, but we're gonna get a bit of an honorable mention here, because quite frankly, when I initially recorded this video, I assumed that this setup was gonna be nerfed or adjusted in some way, and lo and behold, it has not been nerfed or adjusted in some way so far. And what we're talking about is the Akimbo Reclaimer 18, the Jack Devastator kit, because this thing up close is just absolutely dominating right now. If you are within 4, 5, 6 meters and you got these things out, it's gonna be tough to lose. Like, these things are absolutely destructive. They are devastating, as the name implies, up close. So a little bit of a bonus setup here as well, in addition to the base 5. But on this, it's pretty self-explanatory. You have the Jack Devastator's conversion kit on there. The center mass rear grip is better for your sprint to fire and whatnot. Dragon's Breath ammo, it's toxic, but it's gonna inflict more damage, helps it with the range a little bit there. I like the Schlager ULO laser for better accuracy from hip fire, then also Bryson choke on there as well. So for those of you who are fans of shotguns, or you just like playing up close and personal, these things are crazy. And then lastly here, maybe a little bit more niche, but still every bit as crazy, the Core 45 conversion. This thing's been up and down all year long. It started off crazy good, then they nerfed it and it wasn't so good, and they buffed it again and it was really good, and then it was broken and they had to delete it from the game. Now it's back, and it is a quick killing close range option, pretty easy to use. It is like a, you know, binary trigger, so it's almost like it's a 2-round burst, right? If you can spam that, you're gonna melt up close, and this in theory does have better TTKs than several SMGs in the meta right now, which is pretty crazy. So conversion kit on there, like I said, changing up how the weapon behaves once more with the binary trigger. Good range, decent velocity for a pistol as well. 40 round mag. We want to spray and pray, fast fire rate when we're spamming the trigger. That makes sure that we don't run out of ammo in the middle of a fight. Sonic suppressor also works really well here, extending out that range and that velocity some. I definitely notice I'm way more accurate when I use an optic on a setup like this. So NIDAR, Slate, whatever one you're comfortable with, feel free to run that. Then you got some choices for your last attachment. I think the precision stock's really solid. It's not slowing you down all that much, but you get really, really good control out of this. So when you are spamming, you're going to be laser accurate, but some players also value movements a little bit more, in which case you could go to the underbarrel, scroll over for a bit, and you'll have something like the DR6 hand stop, which would be great here. Faster ADS, sprint to fire, strafe, general movement speed. That's a great way to build this out as well. Either way, between all 5 of these conversion kits, you cannot go wrong. They are easy to use. They're going to melt players at all ranges depending on which one you're choosing. Ton of fun to use these. I love the whole concept of aftermarket parts, and truly I think it's something that they absolutely nailed this year. I hope it's something that continues for years to come as we see new iterations of COD debut. But that being said, that's going to wrap things up for this one. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it, and if you're new here, on your way out, hit that subscribe button so you can always guarantee you're up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.